gonna give y'all the rundown on Legend Ice.
Okay, so now you wanna make love to me, girl? If you don't get the fuck from me, I know you thought we had something special, but you don't mean nothing to me. Girl, I'm sorry you not the one for me.
Yo guys, what is up? It is James and welcome back to another Wiz video. So today we're going to be cracking down on my gear and deck setup for you guys for Legendary Ice, because I know a lot of you are wanting to aspire in some Legendary Ice PvP or might be interested in it. So today I'm going to crack down on the gear and deck setup behind Icebreaker. So before I go any further, I just want to say thank you for all the support on recent videos. It has honestly been amazing and I cannot stress that enough. Seriously. Also, let me know you guys' feedback on the current setup. I think I have the pop filter and the Yeti in the shot this time instead of it just being close up on my face and kind of cringy and whatnot. I noticed that in the last face cam. Also, I kind of like, you know, zoomed the face cam out. So let me know your thoughts on the new setup. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the gear and deck setup. So I'm going to start off with the gear setup because I think that's a little bit more valuable to know first than, you know, the deck setup, which will obviously come later. But we're going to knock out both, but start with the gear setup. So, all right, so the hat that you're going to want is the Frostbite hood. It does not matter if you are running offensive ice or defensive ice. You're going to want this. Trust me, it is like the best thing to get, and it doesn't require being Warlord or any sort of rank to get. Plus, you're probably going to be running Waterworks anyway, or you should if you're in Ice. So just go ahead and grab it from Luska. The robe you're going to want. Okay, so here's where you have options, right? So the zigzag robe, which is the robe you're seeing on screen right now, gives more damage, more critical. Actually, let me just go ahead and compare the two, right? So you get a tad bit less health, more power pip, which Ice seriously lacks. Same accuracy, you know, 2 less resist, which is meh. You get more RNG critical though, to crit them frostbites and them snow angels that do BS damage, but you lose a little bit of incoming. So I would suggest, if you do have the free time and it's not going to level you up too much over level 66, even though I would suggest not going above 66 for any legendary character. If you have the time and, you know, the level space to farm zigzag, definitely get this robe because it's super good for offensive ice and it can also be used for defensive ice, as you guys have seen in my previous ice videos. But I would suggest having both, and I'll explain when I get into the boot section. But the incoming on the robe can compensate for a lot of other things, and you want to be able to have that, you know, just that little bit of extra resist, block, and that extra health, because it does help in defense situations if need be. So in conclusion, both are good, but if I had to suggest just one, I would definitely go with the Frostbite cape, just because it has more defensive properties and that incoming is also pretty clutch on satyrs and fairies. All right, so for boots, basically what you're going to want to start out with is the Waterworks boots, and as I said before, you're going to run Waterworks anyway, so just pick up, you know, a pair of Frostbite boots, start wearing them, and then when you get to, I think it's Warlord, right? Yeah, because it's Glendemic gear. When you get to Warlord, you are going to want to pick up the notorious Glendemic boots. Now, the reason why I say this is because they give more resist. It gives 1 more damage than the Frostbite boots, which you don't really see in a lot of legendary boots from Waterworks, at least. You do lose some incoming, and that's why I said you need to, if I had to recommend one robe, I would recommend the Frostbite robe, because it gives that 5 incoming that you lose when you swap over from the Frostbite boots to the Glendemic's boots, so it doesn't look, you know, too off with your healing in and out. But it gives more block, which is more RNG to block and not get killed by some BS. You get 2% more universal accuracy, because the Frostbite gives 3 and the Glendemics give 5, and you get more power per percent, which, as I said before, actually I didn't say it before, but Ice, well, I think I did, I'm not too sure, but anyways, Ice seriously lacks on power pip percent. So the more power pip and accuracy you have, the better your gameplay is going to be, but they're still both going to be lacking because Ice has some serious resist and some serious, like, some seriously good overtime spells. So KI they did their job to balance ice the best they could. So just be careful with your accuracy and your power pip number. All right, so for the wand, you have a couple of options. All right, so if you can't get this wand, which is dropped from the Immortals lore pack, and to get this wand from the pack, you have to open packs on a level 60 character. The character does not have to be myth, it doesn't have to be ice, it just has to be on a level 60 character. You'll have an RNG chance of getting this wand. If you do, definitely use this. And then I guess if you want to, if it fits your strategy for playing ice, then switch to the Sky Iron Hosta. Now, if you cannot get this from packs for whatever reason, maybe you don't have enough crowns to pop packs at all, you just don't like popping packs because it's just RNG BS, then definitely use the Sky Iron Hosta, or if you have it, the Side Staff, because it's pretty good and can save you from fizzling that one spell that you just needed to power to win, if you know what I'm saying. Some people have that, you know, that event happen where they just fizz that one spell. It happens. But those are your three options: Sky Iron, and then as you get up into the ranks, switch to Staff of the Flash, or if you can get this, then use this. It's really, really good. And the Maycast is pretty much like a non-Shadow Pip Weaver, and it's kind of nerfed because it's not ice, so it doesn't take off of like your damage. Otherwise it would do like 800 damage off this Maycast. So it is myth, but it's pretty much like a nerfed Weaver and on a Maycast. So I mean, say the opponent has like 2 tower shields, you wand out the first one, get the Maycast, and get a shield back. It's pretty broken. So starting out, what I want you to do, or actually I should have said this in the beginning, but if you're planning to do legendary ice, I seriously suggest you craft, number 1, and number 2, go to level 66. And there's a couple reasons for that. Going back to the robes really quick, right? There is a level 66 crafted robe that gives a crap ton of health, block to every school, 12 resist to every school, and resist to storm and fire, which are like super high hitting classes. It also gives damage to ice, crit to ice, and accuracy to ice. Seriously broken robe. And this is super good in tournaments if you know that the person you're going to get is either storm or fire. Definitely suggest you craft, go to 66, and get this, because it can save your ass in certain situations. But going back to Athames, go to 66 and craft the Oliphant's Storied Scimitar. If we don't know where to get this, basically after you complete your Legendary Crafter Badge quest, where you end up crafting the drums, the same guy that you get the quest from, the lion, he sells this recipe as well as the robe recipe right here. So get both of those, craft both, and you'll be good. And then as you get up into the ranks, craft the Duelist Fatal Razor. Now the reason why I say craft the Duelist Fatal Razor instead of like the Cosmic Chris and then run the Duelist the Duelist Daredevil ring, is because, okay, hold on, if you go over to this guy, right, and you compare the Daredevil ring and the Athame, because I see a lot of people run the Cosmic Chris and the Daredevil ring, and it kind of irritates me because I know where you guys are getting this from, and to be honest, he's so stupid for doing this, because you're trading, like, hold on, okay, look, you're trading more health, right? Look, 240 compared to 305, that's like a serious significant difference, especially for ice and myth. So you're trading a health difference, a small power pip difference, what, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 4 power pip percent, and that power pip percent can easily just be gotten back by putting on the Glen boots. So I mean, there's really no reason to swap out the Duelist Fatal for the Cosmic Chris and, you know, partner the Daredevil ring when you can just have that RNG crit, which the ring does not have. And if you have the Pierce Jewels, you know, knock out 2 of them sockets and put in 2 Pierce Jewels, because it has 2 circle sockets. When the ring, I mean, it gives you 3 universal pierce, but why would you trade health, what, more damage The Duelist Fatal Razor has way more benefits than the Duelist Daredevil Ring. Please, for the love of everything, for every legendary out there that is watching this video, stop substituting the Fatal Razor for the Cosmic Chris. Okay? Swap them out. Don't go Stellar Signet and, don't go Cosmic Chris and Daredevil Ring. Go Duelist Fatal Razor and Cosmic Chris. Switch them. Because you're doing it wrong. You're missing out on extra damage, extra health, and more RNG to win your match. So it's either they BS you or you BS them. And that's Wiz. So please stop doing that. So my suggestion is start out with the Olafant's Straight Scimitar because it gives a crap ton of incoming, decent damage, decent power pip, really good health. And then as you get up into the ranks, swap out for the Fatal Razor. Now, for the Amulet, you're obviously going to want to run Life Mastery. For the Ring, I would suggest Stellar Signet. If you can't craft the Stellar Signet right away, by the way, if you don't know where to craft the Stellar Signet, you can look it up on the wiki or watch my top 5 video that I posted. It's pretty recent. It's like the first thing that I show in that video. But you can craft this ring, and it has immaculate in and out, decent health, great power percent, and its sockets are pretty good if you can find the right jewels to socket in them. So overall, a really good ring. Definitely suggest it. If you cannot get this ring right away, because you're definitely going to want to get it one way or another, then I would suggest crafting one of the Winter Tusk rings, because they give decent, not really decent damage, they give I guess substantial damage and decent in and out, maybe a little bit of health and power percent, but you're still going to want the Stellar Signet because it's just better overall. All right, so a pet is really just whatever. Not everyone has access to a really good pet, but if you are running defensive ice, then you are going to try to put double resist on a pet, maybe fortify, and you're going to want to have dealer on a pet, like for it to be like remotely, I guess, not really good, because it just relies on your strategy and who you're facing, really. You know, like in a match to call yourself like good or like, oh, I played good. But I guess just at least try to have double resist on a pet. If you can put double resist on a pet, you're pretty much good. If you can't have double resist on an ice pet, then try to get proof and fortify and maybe ice dealer. But definitely try to strive for something with double resist and dealer, and then fortify if you can. And if you can make it on an armament, all the more power to you, because that's the best ice pet in the game. Alright, so there are 2 decks that you have to choose from. One is craftable, so you really need to craft. And the other one you farm in Zigzag. Now, you don't have to go all the way into Zigzag to the point where you get XP, but you do have to do the first part of the Zigzag quest, which is complete the lower Zigzag dungeon. Then you have access to the House of Scales, and then you go in the House of Scales, and the secret boss drops this deck right here, which gives 1% universal accuracy. It's not really all that, you know, amazing and whatnot, but it does give a little bit more TC space than the craftable one, which is, let me see, the Sub-Zero deck. So look, the Sub-Zero deck TC capacity ends like right here, right? Like right where the Gobbler's 2 eyes are, right? If I go over to, let me see, the set of the Ravenous Teeth, my current one, it stops all the way down here where the green little doodle wizard is being like blocked out, right? One more difference from the House of Scales deck, other than, you know, it giving like 1% more accuracy to every school, is that you can put 7 instead of like, I think 5 or 6 enchants in your deck. So right now I have equipped the House of Scales deck, and as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colossals in. Now, if I were to go to the crafted deck, which is the deck that you want if you aren't going to be farming House of Scales, it's still pretty good. And the TC space, you know, again, is pretty good as well. It's what I started using on all my characters before I got the 1% accuracy deck for my Death, Fire, and my Balance. But on this, or in this deck, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colossals. So in this deck, you can only hold 5 of 1 enchant. In the other deck, you can hold 7 of 1 enchant. That is also a very notable difference, but I mean, it's still the same thing. And if you don't have colossal, it's okay. Just put gargantuans in your deck. Colossal is kind of like my secret thing for legendary characters. I have yet to make a video on it. I might in the future. People have been asking, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet because there's other important things that I want to get to. But all right, so now we are going to get into the deck setup. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say that this is a defensive ice deck setup. And one more thing, this deck setup in particular is I guess a form of a control deck. And if you don't know what that is, basically the point of this deck is to get all of your defensive stuff and debuffs first so that you can set up your playstyle and then execute it. So, you know, the point is to, you know, get your blades, get your infections, get your shields, get your fairies, get your satyrs, get your dispels, get your weaknesses, and then as you start discarding things that you don't need at the moment, like while you're weaknessing, while you're infectioning, you know, while you're putting on that storm dispel so that they don't, you know, or their pet rather doesn't enfeeble all your blades off, you know, you start to pull in, you know, your sharpened blade and your ice blade, and then you enchant that, then you pull a bubble and you bubble so that, you know, you try to force your opponent to bubble over you while you keep blading and whatnot. So it's essentially a control deck. Just know that. So you need at least 5 bubbles. Bubbles are really good, especially for ice. It's 2 pips. Blizzard, in case someone's a minion and you just pull this, enchant it. It does mass damage with the bubble up. And if you have infoul, all the merrier. 1 colossal, because it does more than Winter Moon. And if you enchant it, it literally does mass with a bubble up. And that's also why you wouldn't have like 5 or more bubbles, because ice does massive damage with bubbles, let's be honest. We see it at max, and if you haven't seen it at legendary, it's crazy. You want 3 frostbites because they're overtimes and they're really, really good. 4 ice blades, 4 minions, because minions are super clutch and you want to be able to spam those if it gets killed. 2 snow angels, because you don't want these to crowd your deck, so if you do pull one, just keep it and then discard other cards to pull an enchant, then keep that until you're ready to hit. You want 2 stun blocks, because I mean, your ice, you're defensive anyway, so you can just wait until you pull 1 stun block, then discard the other one when you pull it. There's not really much need for stun blocks, because if you do get a myth, they're probably not going to be able to beat you before you beat them, even from first or second. So that's that. You want at least 5 tower shields, because your ice, you know, tower, crazy. Volcanic shields, they're a given. Winter Moon, the only reason I have 2 in main is because I have more inside. You know, they're just really good, but you don't want them, again, to clog your deck. So you want at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enchants. 6 is good in case you want to fit like another reshuffle in or whatever, but definitely have at least 6 enchants. So that's that. If you don't have colossal, just fit gargantuan and then just put like 1 monstrous if you don't have enough to fit all of them in, but you should anyways. 3 light dispels, self-explanatory. You want at least 2 legend shields, because you are going to get your occasional like super OP legend death or super OP legend myth, and you're going to want to be able to pull these and be like, stop that, you know, and just stop them in their tracks pretty much. So that's that. You want at least 3 fairies, because fairies, like on an ice, really aren't going to be used unless you need like a small heal. Like most of the time, I'd say that you're going to be like discarding them and whatnot. Your sprites are for getting off infections. Your satyrs obviously for mass heals. Your infections, it's your average debuff that you want to use when you are blading. So like just blade, infection, blade, weakness, whatnot. Your storm dispel, as I said before, is used because legendary pets, a lot of you out here have some crazy enfeeble pets, and they will spam enfeeble. So you at least want 1 storm dispel. I'm telling you, it's going to save your life 1 match. So 1 storm dispel, at least 1 reshuffle. They fixed that reshuffle update. So maybe 2, depends on what you feel comfortable with. 2 blades and 3 weaknesses, and those blades are elemental blades that you can buy from or just get from the balance tree in Croc. So that pretty much sums up the video. That gear setup and deck setup, obviously, again, is for defensive ice. If you want to run offensive ice, I mean, if you find him in game, then I mean, you can ask him what he recommends. But the man for that is your boy Fred Legend, who is the best offensive ice in the game. Look at these stats real quick, all right? 90 damage. 90 damage? On an ice? 50 resist. 18. Wait, can he fizzle? Hold up. Yeah, he can. Okay. Well, I mean, ice doesn't have that good, like, that godly accuracy that, like, fire or, like, life does. So, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. So, he can fizzle by 2, but, I mean, 90 damage, 50 resist, 69 power percent, which honestly could be better, but, I mean, my power percent isn't even all that good. It's like, what? Yeah, 68. So, he has better than me by 1, but ice can be pretty godly at legendary. I guess really quick, let me go ahead and go through his setup in case you want to copy his. I don't think he'd mind, really. If he does, then Fred, I apologize, but really anybody can just, you know, click on you and see your setup. So Frostbite Hood, the Zigzag Robe, you know, Glen Boots, pretty good. He has the same pet as me, except actually I think it's glitching. He has the 6-socketed, it's just not showing on my screen. And then he has the same wand, same theme. And actually, he has the Duelist Daredevil ring, so that's where he gets his 90 damage from. And then his deck, I'm pretty sure that's not his PvP deck, to be honest. And if it is, then just use the crafted one still. But his pet is also 10 dealers, so that is how he's able to reach 90 damage, just so you know. It says 9, but it's actually 10. Mine is also 10. But that is going to wrap up the video, pretty much. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like. If you guys are liking the new face cam setup, drop a like and let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you have anything else to add on Legendary Ice as far as, like, you know, strats that other people can use, feel free to drop your comments in the comment section below. That's what that's for this video specifically anyways. But for now, guys, this is James giving you all the sign off. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.